All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is July 23rd, 2018. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Draw Those Lines Ahead of Time. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right. Real quick before we get started, let me just show you something that's coming. Don't get excited just yet. But I'm going to start some charts, and I'm going to show you how fast this actually does here. What's this? We're going to go ahead and start NinjaTrader. This is version 8. Look at that. How's that for fast? Anybody see anything faster than that? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Well, like I say, we're absolutely working on it, and we've got it this far. Now, I don't have the power meters yet. We don't have lightning yet. We do have stealth. We do have predictors, but it's a work in progress right now. Okay, and I just got a new deal of it just a little while ago, so I just thought I'd show that. You know, one thing about it, when we finally do get there, it is going to be a faster one than Ninja 7. And, you know, obviously it'll be a little nicer way to go. But for right now, we're going to be sticking with Ninja 7. And obviously we've got Object Trader in Ninja 7. So I'm going to go ahead and just close this out. Okay, pretty cool though. Did you see how fast that loaded? All right. Now what I want to do, we want to learn how to draw on our charts is really important. Okay. And even if you know how, you know, just if you don't mind, just stick around and see if we can, you know, do some pretty good drawing on charts and things like that, because I think you will like it. And because what I like to do on my charts, I like to draw on these ones that show these numbers. To give an example, if I was trading this chart right here, I would draw a line in my mind, at least, like right across there at 22, 23, 22. All right. And then I would draw a line because we already know that the price has been down here. Okay. So I'm actually looking for a trade, either a pop-up with a pullback, like so. And we've gone over this a lot of times, but this really will make a big difference in your trading. All right. And then if you'll simply look at this, you know, if this was to happen, we would do this. Okay, now also look at the overall trend. Now notice that your power meter 3 is red, but I still see this. And that looks to me like a little bit more of an uptrend, doesn't it to you? So will it do this or will it do this? Well, we don't know yet, but you know, always diagnose your charts and you'll come closer. This is actually just pretty much a, you know, basically this range, isn't it? Right across here, pretty much. Okay. So, you know, always, you know, make sure you diagnose your charts. Now let's look at another one and let's see where it might be going and tell me the direction that you would be looking to trade. Okay. So let me go ahead and pause the screen for just a second. I'm going to show you another chart and we're going to draw on our chart here. All right. Now this chart, what direction are you heading as we speak right now? Anybody? Yeah, absolutely short, right? Okay. Now, if this was to actually do something like this, now let me show you something that could happen. We don't know yet, but let's say that it did something like this, got some support, and then did something like this. Well, wouldn't we be looking for this trade, for instance, if it came back and kissed, say, right across here or even here? Yes. But as you can see right now, it hasn't done that as of yet. This is actually real-time, lightning on the chart, so it's actually showing, where we're at right now. Okay, so I would be boxing it in probably more like that. And I look to the left to trade the right, and I see a little bit of support there. So I might even stretch my box out just a little bit, and that'd pretty much be where I'd be willing to take that trade, more than likely short. Now, is that probably more than likely a phantom? Anybody? Well, let's look at the actual chart and see what it looks like, because it is super, super important to always draw on your charts. And look how easy it is to tell what that trade's going to do. Everybody see that? Now, one thing, by the way, if you want to get in the habit of doing it, now keep in mind that if you do this an aggressive way, you're going to have to end up putting about a 12-tick stop, okay? But if you were to fire a short at line 6 when it's gone from a long to a short, first time in the mid-band, or pardon me, into phantom, and, let's say at the time, of course, you don't know what it's going to do, right? So you fire a short at line 6, and then you simply put your stop right up here. That's actually 6 ticks and 6 ticks, so that's 12 ticks. Okay? Because you're going to notice that when these phantoms hold, this continues bringing your phantom on down. See there? See how it never bipped up, in other words. Okay? So also, if you were to draw on your chart, though, you would see clearly that they first tested, see this swing right here? They tested here for a nice little short. And then where did they test? Well, they tested looking to the left to trade the right. They tested right there. See that swing right there? That's why you draw on your charts. Okay? Even though this did a 1, 2, 3, this was not a trend change, because what you want on a 1, 2, 3 is this would have done this. This would have done this. And this would have done this, and you would have gotten a higher like that. But this is not a trend change. A trend change would have been if this would have thrust on up, pull back on top of here where you draw a line. This would have been a trend change. And more than likely, you'd get a green background in the whole 9 yards. Okay? Now, remember, when they change trends, they'll usually do a 1, 2, 3. All right, and notice this one did 1, 2, 3, and then you've trend changed and you're looking for that mid-band trade or even a phantom trade. Now, does that mean you can't take some breakout trades? I like this particular trade right here if I can catch it, because I like to watch these a priori swings. Those take a while to draw, simply because they're looking at 15 bars or the equivalent of the algorithm that draws it. Okay, so a lot of times I'll draw on my chart. We missed that one on oil today. I kicked myself for missing that, but it was just like this. It literally, instead of doing a phantom, it just dropped. And that happens. Okay. But if you do get ready to short like support, where it draws an a priori swing, you're usually pretty good at that. Now, don't do it if this is yellow or if this is rose color, because when it's like that, more than likely you're going to just be in choppy sideways. Okay. Let's see, started playing with it, but can't figure out how to get the instrument set to current front month and everything. Oh, I'll be going over a lot of videos on that, Kenneth. I played with Ninja 8 since about Saturday now. Truthfully, I don't like it as much as I do Ninja 7, but it's familiarity. I'm so familiar with Ninja 7, I can go anywhere on that control panel, and, with the new one, it takes me a few minutes to find what I'm looking for. But it'll come. It's just one of those things that's, just like muscle memory. You just got to do it over and over and over until it, till it clicks. But they've even got a rollover deal in Ninja 8 where you click it and you can just roll over all your instruments on all your charts. Like if you had oil on 4 charts and you want to do a rollover to 918, you just say roll over and it rolls them all. It's kind of cool. But in ways, it's kind of difficult to play with too. And at first I was frustrated with it because it kept drawing all this dark shadow. But my programmer mentioned to me that there was a skin that you could change, kind of like some of these computer programs where you get like a skin on a music deal or something. So I changed mine to that lighter color, and I'm a lot happier with it. I just don't like, dark backgrounds. It bugs my eyes. Okay, let's see. Put up today's gold chart if you would. I want to see how you would have entered a trade. On which one, Jay? What time about? Was it like at the open of the market or when? Because I can put up a gold chart, not a problem. You want to do that? Let me get one up. I've got to get. We don't have a gold chart, but I'll get one. File new chart. Gold. And let's diagnose it first. You want to diagnose it first? Let's diagnose it first and see which way it's going. All right, we've got to pull this over. And at the time, this looks like pretty much, see, it was breaking trend. So it's pretty much heading down, wouldn't you think? Pretty much. So you want to see the actual chart and see what you might have traded, like from midnight on or something. I've got this set about little after 1:30 in the morning. I guess that's when I, happen to just download my data and everything. So let's take a look at a chart. Let's pull up gold. Drawing on charts is super, super critical to making money. Let me get a object power meter here. All right. Well, I was right on the trend so far, right? So let me ask you a quick question. What are you looking for on this particular trade? Because it's already happened, actually. Because see where it was making a support area right through here? That was your trade right there. See it? That was actually your trade right there. Now, will it give another one? Very possibly. Let's see, put up, you want it about the time that we open the room at all, or just wait on that? You want to see if we can take a few trades just to see? I'll go ahead and do let's just try a gold trade and see if we can get something. I'm not up at 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll do an object trader. We'll do no more than, I'll give it a total of 5, but we're not going to do 5. All right. I'd love to have fired it right there, though, unfortunately. But if it breaks this little swing right here, you could also. So let's draw a region there. And that's at least going to go down here if it breaks. So I'd be comfortable with that. That might be a 10-tick trade, so let's try it. We'll just do 2, just in case. And if it makes it a little higher, we'll draw our lightning or our little region up higher. Let's see if we can get something. That's about still 130-ish. See if we can get something. Now, I wouldn't mind getting this right here, actually, too. But it's already been there also, though. See the wick? You get what you get. I'd probably go ahead and do it more like that now. See a little lightning right there? I like a fairly aggressive trade. I don't like this breakout as much. So, if this was to do lightning, see the high, the low, the lower high, that would be a lower low if that breaks this little box. And it did, so we're good. See how drawing on your charts will pay off? Even if you just look about any time of the day, you can actually draw where that's more than likely going to hit its head. Let's see if we keep this trade. We're down about 40 bucks. It's going a little sideways. Where would you put your stop? Anybody? Well, just in case, I'd probably put my stop just above that swing with an exit on close. That way I don't get wicked out. There we go. We're back in the green. Now, what I personally like to do is if we get this to go ahead and go red, we'll just, let's see, where's our swing at first off? Our swing's right here, so we're going to take some profit there. And a predictor says there too. Okay, now what I would do at this point is go ahead and turn on my power meter, you know, to get out of the trade if it happens to go against me. So I'll turn on power meter 1 and long. If it happens to just bounce here and not continue down, if this goes green, it could just take me out. Hadn't gone green. So you don't even have to move your stop if you do that, because right now, power meter 1 would be, if it goes down a little bit further, that is, it would be right here. See if it closes. Didn't close. And your power meter would be right there or there. Let's see if we get a power meter. If we don't, we're in the trade short. We've got our power meter turned on. Nice little trade, huh? There you go. Power meter just took you out. Okay, let's draw on our chart again and let's see. Somebody tell me where the next trade is on this chart. Let's look and see. Look to the left to trade the right. You can clearly see that they hit this area right here, right? Clearly see that. What have they not checked? They haven't checked that one. That's around mid-band right there. So what do you think? See, if you draw on your charts, you'd be amazed. They always go looking right to the left first, and then they'll even go to the next level. And it can still be lower because, see, this is actually a high here, a lower high, and a lower low. So if we get anywhere near this area right here, we should get another trade. Okay? So we would just simply box it in. Hit the region box, drag it. I'd give it touch +2 because it needs to come in this. And if it goes inside the box, I'll probably even turn on the box here. You see what I mean? But notice how drawing on your chart, you can really diagnose that chart. You can do a real good job of diagnosing that chart. Let's see if we get something on this particular trade. Notice how our mid-band is really a good indicator too. See this predictor? That was showing right where that swing was right there. That's a really nice, basically what we call a minor retracement. If it goes closer to mid-band, it'll be a little bit deeper retracement. Now, what if it just hits here and heads down? Well, we'll look at it. We'll look at it. The only thing is, this is actually, when you look at the larger swings, you know, where they really take time to draw them, like, you know, for instance, right here where support was just kept bouncing off, and then it broke. So what do? They check it. Okay, this is an a priori swing. So if you actually draw on your chart, let's see, where's Russell? Right here. Was that Russell we're on? No, that's gold, sorry. Gold, right here. All right, just draw on your chart and you'll see where they should actually come back to. You know, draw on your chart, and then draw your lightning also. And let's draw lightning right here. Okay. So what are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to break down and then come back and kiss. So let's just see. We may not even get a trade, but I want to see if these two lines actually really do the trick. I got it going at like almost 500 times. Let's just see. See there? It just kissed the area that I would have fired that trade right there at that line. Now let's see if it rolls over. And you got another line right here too. See it? Right there. And the thing is, don't take a trade just because, see how it did? See how it did? And where are we at on our chart? Well, we already got a trade even. Object trader took the trade, you can clearly see. The only thing is we only had 2 contracts, so it went 15 and 20 ticks. Okay? All right, so let's see if anybody can figure out where next trade is. Now remember, when you have a yellow bar probe, if it ratchets down, you are looking for another yellow bar probe. Okay? You're also looking for deep bar probes, and you're looking for phantoms. Okay? So drawing your chart. Let's see if we can get a little trade here. Let's look to the left, trade the right. Thrust, retrace, thrust. You do have a little bit of resistance right here at mid-band. See it right there, lightning? And let's see if we can get a little trade. And by the way, if you don't happen to get a trade, you can actually utilize like lightning 2 to give an example. Okay, just draw it and let it basically guide you to the trade. Let's see if we can do that. Let's draw it from here. Let's see if we can get something. Let's see, just one second. Vin, you're asking, bear with me a second. Okay, thanks for mentioning that. Yellow bars are the hardest, near the mid-band, the hardest for me. Well, Mindy, on your question, I think what you probably end up doing is, now keep in mind, if it actually comes to an area that you've drawn on your chart and starts to roll, you want to get in as quick as you can. Okay? Especially the first time in the mid-band. Because remember, the rule of thumb is once you get a red background and you get this mid-band that changes to short, this first yellow bar probe should be good. Now the second one, you're getting down to about 50 some odd %. Okay, so it's more like flipping a coin. But don't your lightning still draw on your chart, and you could get in by that? Let's see if they'll draw, and we'll get in according to lightning. See if we can get something. Got it going like 200 times. Okay, it wouldn't have fired, because see, you got a swing right across there. Now you'd be here. Almost. Nope. Now where's your trade on this one right here? Well, if you did line 6, you got you probably a quick little trade. Let's see if we can get some profit on a quick little trade. We're going to put a nice tight stop just in case this decides to just blow up. And you've got support right here. Not very much of a trade, but it's that support right there where that lightning is. See how that phantom trade? Now the phantom trade, I'd like to have gotten in it a little bit quicker than that, like at line 6, but we didn't. So we'll see if we can at least get. We got one target. You could even protect your coin like right across there, literally, in case they decide to start stair-stepping back up at all. Because remember, this can be a trend change also. It may not be, but you can protect your coin. You know, anytime you're up, you know, some of our best traders, they like to actually do it to where, you know, if they get profitable, they don't like to go back against them hardly at all. And that's hard to do with 4-range charts, especially on some of the instruments that they ping pong around quite a bit. You know, you'll end up paying your broker a little bit. Is it going to take us or not? Now, anybody, is this a trend change yet? No. Could it be the starting of a trend change? Well, let's look at our little chart and draw on it. Let's see. Let's see here. What's our rule on this? Okay, we want to at least break, which we're breaking. So we want to do something like this. We want to break resistance. So we want to do something like this. We want to pull back, hold a level of support, like even right across here to give an example, and then that would more than likely be a mid-band trade, and you would have probably gone green, and then you're going to take off. Or you're going to hit phantom, and now this looks like it's going to get us. Exit on close will get us. Everybody see that? Hadn't gotten us yet though. Let's see, at 7:56, I entered a phantom short and got stopped out. I want to see how you would have entered the trade, Jay. Oh, you're talking about this time? Well, if you do get stopped out, keep in mind that you can go back in until this changes, because you're still looking for a phantom type trade unless this decides to start really heading up. Now, so far, basically all you've done is barely take out resistance. Okay, and phantom has held. I'd still leave my stop pretty tight on this because this could easily be a trend change. We're going to find out. Did you get it when we called it in the room though, Jay? You remember when we actually about 7:59 we got that trade with the box in? Now let's look at this and see. Would we protect our coin? What do you think? Well, just let lightning do it for you. If this goes green now, I can actually move my stop. And if this goes green at all on lightning 1, I can get out of the trade. See, I've got a lightning red, and I'll move my stop just so you can see if this actually goes green. And it just did, so you're flat. Okay, now, is this a phantom trade? Well, it went deep, but it didn't change, did it? So if you wanted to take this, for instance, if the meter goes red, see the meter's green, you could actually turn on PM1. This doesn't matter right here, remember, when you're on PM1. Okay, so let's see if we get something heading back down at all. And we'll do it on the power meter. Or how about even a stealth? Now, stealth is a little bit more of a breakout trade. But keep in mind, this is actually, trying to head up. But your overall trend, let's look at it. You have a high, you have a low, you have basically the same high, but it's a little lower high. So then you had a huge thrust down, retracing the mid-band that worked, retracing the phantom that so far, so. You got a swing right across here that they're checking to the left. Let's see if we can get something. If power meter goes red, we'll get it. If it does decide to go ahead and start breaking up, we're getting a green background. So if we do start trying to head up, what I would be looking for personally, it's going to have to break above where it's already gone, and it's going to have to not only change this background green, but it's going to need to change this green. And the reason for that is because, unless you want to just take breakout trades, you want this to break up. You want it to pull back. Like even to here, for instance, and then you want it to break up again if it's going to head up. If it's going to head down, what you want it to do is you want it to start stair-stepping down. Let's see if we can get one of those two happening. Now remember, lightning, all it has to do, this is an up deal on lightning, but this one here is a little bit more of a down. See where you have a high, low, lower high, and then lower low? That's actually stair-stepping down. But just think of it as opposite, because each time lightning, if you flip this chart over, and drew it more to the downside, you'll see that you'll actually get a lightning break. This will do a high, a low, a lower high, and then it'll roll if it's going to break down. Now, I would have probably already shorted this because it's actually at phantom, and I would have taken a chance on it. But let's just do it a conservative way. Let's see, because Mindy was talking about, you know, basically, how do you know if you're really going to be heading down yet or not? Well, you don't really, but you will know. You know, for instance, if I look to the left to trade the right, this is actually support right here, right now. But what if this does high, low, lower high, and then rolls? Well, we could still take it. Okay, but we could get ready to take this too if this decides to break. Now, like I said, I'd already be short on this the way I trade, because that phantom would have gotten me short. I've seen that too many times. Wow, it's slow this time of morning, isn't it? Let's just speed it up a little bit. There's a little high, low, lower high. Let's see if we get something here. That'll go red if we do. Not yet. And everybody see that where this should go red? It should go red right there if it closes. A little bit more of a breakout trade though. Still didn't get it. It is starting to stair step down though, isn't it? See it? Your high, your low, your lower high, a little lower low. It just hadn't closed yet. Power meter 2 went red, not 1 yet. 1 will go right here when it closes below that swing. That's too late to me. But it still worked, so I guess we're happy with it. Always look to the left to trade the right. Look to your a priori swings to the left. You know, see where it could hit its head. That's a swing right over there on a lightning 3, so you probably protect some coin there. Let's see. So, Jay, just a quick question, though. Did you get back in it, though? Because, you know, I found out a lot of times when, you know, if they fake you, to give an example, that you can get some pretty good trades. Because what do they normally do? Well, they break a trend line also. Now, keep in mind, you know, when this was doing this right here, you could actually draw a trend line too. And this started breaking this trend line right across this area right through here. See it? That's pretty much where we got in. That's a little conservative trade. I don't particularly just love it to pieces, but I also find that it works pretty well if you know, basically just don't let it go back against you, because it didn't. It's like boxing it in, you know, because on the left side that was still support until it broke that area that it did. You didn't go ahead and get back in it then? Now, what if, look at this though. See, this is actually kissing resistance right there. Couldn't you have gotten in right there even again? See it kissing our line? You know, it's too late now because it's already hit it and it's heading down. But let me ask a quick question. If you weren't in this trade at all, does anybody see another trade on this chart? Let me get this out of the way so I can talk about it. If you look at your gold chart over here, where is support on your a priori swings? It's right here. All right, so what are we expecting? If I was walking into a room and decided that, hey, I wanted to trade this, I'd wait for this right here. Whoop, wrong one, sorry. Let's get rid of that one. I'd wait for this right here, a break, a pullback, and a roll. Grab that same one again. Right there. There we go. Everybody see that? Now, isn't that a trade to look for also? Now, could you take it if it just breaks this? Absolutely, because that would be breaking support. But that's more of a breakout trade. A breakout and a retracement trade would be break it, come back and kiss it, roll. Let's see what it does. Okay, it's already broken it. Let's draw a line. Okay, it broke it. Also got a line right across here, like so. Didn't quite get there. Don't just take it willy-nilly, because it's got to go, you know, we're already in a trade, so we're fine. Remember the rule of thumb, if you can wait for it, is a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. You need an ABC. Now, if it continues cratering, then it's going to negate that, and we're going to have to go ABC again. Right at support. Breaking it a little bit. Little double bottom. Maybe. Turn on sniper there. Oops, that's the top one. There we go. There's your A. There's your B. If it closes above that swing, that is. There's your ABC. There you go. Now, I'd put my stop pretty tight, though. I wouldn't let them, just in case this decided to pop up. You know, because what did that do? It kissed resistance. Everybody see that? That's really just, truthfully, all there is to trading in a way. I mean, if you think about it, where's your next level of support on here? Well, you've got one right here. So if you weren't even in a trade yet, let's say that you didn't even have this one yet. Let's just take it off the table. Couldn't you pretty much look to this one right here? Like that. And like that. Let's see if it doesn't do something like that. I'm going to fast forward it. We probably won't get the trade, but I want to see. Going to kiss the line. ABC, ABC, ABC. See it right there? Kissed resistance. That's what we look for in that room with rollovers. We see that? Nice tight stop. At least just above the swing. See how that kissed that? Now, aren't you looking for the same thing when it changes trends? That little trade right there will make a difference in your money. There, we got stopped out. You want to see if we can get another trade? That's a rollover, a little late, but see it rolling over right there? It rolled over. I put my stop fairly tight just in case. That's a yellow bar probe rollover. We called that one in the room this morning. Does anybody see if you were going to head down, you should have a high, a low, a lower high? Look to the left to trade the right. What was there? Well, nothing unless you look way over here. But that was definitely a rollover trade. We even called that, I know, in the room, because this was before we closed the room right here. And it stayed even after the room closed. Now, let me ask a quick question. If you were a conservative trader, does anybody see, let's just say, okay, you've had a thrust, you've had a retrace. All right, so you have lightning right under here, okay, with the higher low so far, because this little bar closed up. All right, so that's lightning one, and it already went short, but could you actually box this in just where it's at if you got up? And let's say, for instance, that Okay, we don't expect it to go here, but it might, because you see you have a low, a high, a higher low. So they may go as high as here to test this again. So I would probably do something like this and like this. That way you go short outside if it touches 2 below, and short inside if it touches within 2 of that top. Let's see if we get something. Now, do you see how to really draw on your charts? Because drawing on your charts, to me, is absolutely the most critical thing that you can possibly do. And like I was saying in the room this morning, be careful when you have yellow midbands and rose-colored midbands, because they're sideways. You don't want sideways markets. You know, when you do those, what you want to do is, we're going to get that trade. When you do those, you want to trade the predictors. I don't like that trade near as much. I would rather have had it at the top. But that's conservative. A little bit more conservative trade. Is it going to fire? Where would you put your stop? If you took this trade right here, where would you put your stop? Well, if you trust lightning, you could just put it above the swing. So you have a thrust, retrace, thrust. If that closes, that's your swing right there. You want to see for sure it is? You can draw it. Draw it with lightning 1. Let me find an area to draw it better. Where are you going to draw from, right? Yep, that's the swing. All right, so where would you put your stop? Well, just in case this decided to go against us, which it could, you could always put your stop just above that swing with the close of a bar. And usually what I do is lag it back at least 1 tick or 2 ticks. There's really no better way to trade than drawing on your charts. There's really not. Because you're going to find a lot of times, if you'll draw on your charts, and if you'll wait for lightning to continue, for instance, you'll get some good trades. Let's get rid of lightning, and let's see if everybody, we're about 43 minutes in. Let's see if everybody can pick the next trade. All right, so what have we had, everyone, so far? Why is that going on there? All right, so let's look at this and see. We've had a yellow bar probe, a phantom, ratcheted down, a yellow bar probe, we haven't had a phantom. Okay, but what's it going to take to change the trends on this chart? Anybody? Well, to me, you would actually absolutely have to break resistance that is identified. Identified means that you've got a lower low and a lower high. Well, just to give you an example on Lightning 3, high, low, lower high, lower low. So this is pretty much your area that if they're going to break to the upside, they're going to do something like this. We're going to break up, pull back and kiss, and take off. Now that's if this happens like this. This is your lightning swing, though, that's identified on what we call your medium swing. So to me, before they're going to really head up, they're going to change to a green background in the whole 9 yards, because this is a high, low, lower high, barely lower low. It's a little lower low right there, but this is still fairly sideways. So let's see if we can get the next trade. We're going to take it either way it does it. We got our target. Now, since we're retracement traders, we're looking for a retracement on here. We're looking for like mid-band. Let's draw on our charts. Let's see where this thing has been. You've got a swing right across here. You've got a swing area right across this area right here. That's not quite to mid-band, so that's a little iffy of a trade to me. But if it rolls over, we'll take it anyway. Okay, no roll yet. There's your stealth. Still no roll. Still no roll. Okay, it's trying to roll. See, if you took that at my lines that I drew ahead of time, you got a little scalp already. But if you're a conservative trader, you haven't broken out of a box. See your box right here? Thrust, retrace. You haven't done an ABC yet. So if you were to short this, you'd pretty much be wanting to take out that swing. And I don't like that one as much because there's not 10 ticks in it. So let's see if we can go even deeper. All right, if you were a conservative trader and you're looking at this chart right now, what does everybody see? Well, we haven't had a phantom yet. Is that a trend change? Anybody? I don't consider this a trend change myself. When they barely take out these support levels like this right here, this to me is still a channel. Now, to me, just like I drew this right here, this is what it would take to get me long. And that would be, it would have to break, change my background green, come back and kiss, and then take off. If it rolls over, I'm going to short it. Okay, let's see what we get. And have we had a phantom? We had one, but we ratcheted big time down. Now, could you have boxed this in? Absolutely. You know, could you have boxed it in right above here? Yes. And you could have gotten a decent little trade, but keep in mind you'd want to protect your coin right there. You know, we missed that. We were looking for a short, and it went ahead and blew up, but it's okay. We're retracement traders, so let's see what we get. See your power meter? Green. We might get a trend change. We're going to find out. That's resistance. That's a lower bar down. There you go, right there. Could you actually put a box there? Absolutely, you could. Now, I probably wouldn't take this one here because this could blow on up. So I'll turn that one off and I'll turn that one on. Now, if this decides to go up, I'm going to take it, but I'm not going to take the breakout. Because we've still got a phantom that's heading down so far. Okay, we are trying to break up, but we haven't broken up yet. Now this, I think, is a trade that gets a lot of people because you're thinking, wow, that was a good 15 tick to the long side. And we teach this. You could actually box that in easily at mid-band. There's your short. And I'd put my stop pretty tight just in case this decides to head up instead of down. So far, it's a phantom. And by the way, you can take your profit on a phantom right at mid-band if you want. You know, for instance, if I don't want to go into any sideways stuff, I can just simply watch this, and if it hits mid-band or my support, see my support right there? That's support, looking to the left to trade the right. So you could actually close it if it hits it. We could miss out on a good trade too. But, you know, if you're a little bit more antsy and you want to protect your coin, just wait for it to hit a support level and kill the trade, because that's already still a decent trade. We're in the profit anyway. Now, what if this was to decide to break up? What would you do? Well, it's got to start lightning dancing to the upside, right? Because right now it's lightning dancing to the downside. I want to show you something before we leave today too, that you can actually adjust on your lightning if you want to. Because I find lightning 3 that they try to take those out by, you know, 2 or 3 or even 6 ticks. If you'll set that on about 10 ticks, you'll keep that trend a lot longer. Because see this right here, for instance, that changed that to green. You know, in my opinion, this should still be red because it just went above it and rolled over. And I'll show you how to change that. We can keep that red. Let's see if this trade worked out. I'll fast forward a little bit. Ooh, almost got us a target. There we got a target. Now, where would you put your stop? Right above that swing. Is it going to take us out? Might. That's our swing, though. Ooh, look at it. Kissed it. See how they look at lightning to the left? I'm going to fast forward this quite a bit and just see if we stay in the trade at all. Now, when will this actually change trends? Anybody? Well, we talked about it already. It's got to thrust up and pull back. It never even got a green background. And when that midband is red like that and it's heading down and those prices are oscillating around it, you know, it's best to actually just, you know, stick with the trade. Now, this is like right at the close of the market right here, so it doesn't look like we're going to get any other data. So let's close it out. All right, let me show you how to fix this right here if you want. You know, if you draw lightning on this chart, you'll notice that you draw lightning 3, lightning 3. So you have a high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, not a lower, low, same high. See how that's your high, lower, low. But see how they barely take that out right there? They do that a lot, but that's still in phantom territory. So what you can do if you want that to stay red is go to your indicator, go to lightning 3, and see where this says close trend ticks. You can actually tell that anything you want it to do, okay, which means it has to close X ticks to change. So let's say, for instance, if I chose 10, okay, that's a little more than I like, but let's just, I'm not going to set that as default though. Let's see if it would be red. See, it's still red because it has to actually break this by 10 ticks, you know. Now, I found usually 5 or 6 actually works, but 10 usually works most every time. And then, you know, when you get a green, you're going to really be, you know, for instance, if I was to take this trade long, this is actually doing a thrust, a retrace. And what you'd want it to do, you'd want it to change the background to green and come back and kiss, just like I've been talking about all night. And I would want it to actually take out this swing here and then come back and kiss, because you're not going to get a green background as you start making this thing go back up. Now I'd be looking for something like that and like that. And you're going to find if you do this, see, that wasn't a trend change either. Now, does it mean that you couldn't take quick little trades like boxing in at mid-band? Or for crying out loud, you could technically even box in with lightning 2 or 1, see where you had a low here, a high and a higher low. You break this, you could actually go long. Okay, that's risky though, because sometimes they'll just barely do it and then they'll roll over. But notice that that gave like a 30 tick trade if you did it that way. Okay, and some of our people actually watch for that. You know, watch lightning. You know, for instance, when did this start lightning up? Well, low, high, higher low, higher high when it took out that swing. Usually what they'll do is they'll come back and kiss it. See here, look. Thrust, retrace, see how they kissed it and then took off? That's the way they do. Okay, anybody have any questions? Did this webinar help out a little bit? Let's see, can I describe a rollover? Absolutely, I can describe a rollover. Let me just show you a rollover. Because we called these in the room this morning. Remember this little trade here? Let me get rid of all the stuff on the chart. Okay, now keep in mind that we were short on gold from higher up to begin with, remember? You know, we had that white box that basically drew at 759. Isn't that it right there? Didn't take you out and it rolled over. So, you know, that's a pretty decent little box actually. But where's the rollover? Let's say if you get anywhere on a short trade, what you're really looking for is to break. Let's say that you missed this entire thrust down. All right. You want to break stealth. You want to break this line 2 area, and you want to get as close to midband as possible. And see how predictor even formed here? That's a decent little trade. Okay. Where would you take it if you were conservative? Well, pretty much when it broke right here. See it right there? Because that's your lightning swing. Now, what about right here on this trade? See how it's heading up, heading up. See how you got a high here and a little higher, got a low here. And what you do is you just keep boxing it in as it, you know, if it was here at first, you know, you would have it like this. Well, you got a little bit of room if it breaks. It goes up instead, so you bring your box up. Goes up a little bit more, so you bring your box up. Close below, you're in. Everybody see that? That's that rollover trade. Now, if you get right to a midband, to give an example, first into a midband after a trend change, you're going to usually find that when they thrust down, they're going to check a resistance level. See, that one did, and predictor actually nailed it. But where would you take this trade? Because at the time, you don't know when it touches that predictor. Is that still heading up further? Well, you just got to trust lightning and see. If you draw your lines on your chart, you'll see lightning is right there at the very moment that we're looking at. Okay, and it breaks it with the close of the bar, like right there. Okay, and then you take the trade and you get you a decent trade. It's got to start going the other direction. Okay, if you draw lightning, you'll see it. See your lightning right there? So when did this start stair-stepping back down? You have a low, you have a high, you have a higher low. You took out the high right here, right? And then you just look at your chart and see where that made that little deal. You have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high. Breaks that right there, you're heading down. Okay? You'd have to put your stop above the swing though, because that's still a little breakout trade. So where does this one break? Well, you've got your swing right here. See there? Broke that swing. Now we take it a little earlier than that though. Okay? Now looking on the left side, this is your swing right here. But if you look on the right hand side, you know, when you go above midband like this and you start rolling over through midband, a lot of our traders will just snap a short because you're getting a better trade here than you are breaking here. Because a lot of times they'll break here and they'll come back and kiss and then they'll roll over. But no matter how you do it, you know, whether you're aggressive or conservative, you're usually pretty much breaking a trend line too. So you're breaking on that bar right there. But this is a safer trade. There's no question about it because you actually are breaking support that was established when they break that. Same way over here. You know, when was this a good short? You get your red background, you go up, you start watching your swings. You got a swing right underneath here. See, and you get a trade. Okay. So that's what the rollover is. Now, like on Phantom, to give an example, you know, when we had this Phantom trade up here, where's your rollover on this trade? Well, when you look at pure lightning, I don't always draw it, but I see it. You know, you've got a 2 candles up, a candle down. When you get like this third candle breaking, that's a little riskier trade to short that candle. Okay. But sometimes you get this where it just makes it straight up and you don't have any lightning. Well, you got to have some lightning or you can't really, you know, tell if it's actually heading down. You basically just broke right back through, you know, the Phantom area and you kissed a predictor. So you could take that trade aggressively up in here. But when did this actually start changing to the downside? Well, you can clearly see it. It thrusts down. it retraced and it broke that level. That's when it truly broke down on the right-hand side, because of the fact that these candles went straight up. Now, if these candles had not gone straight up, let's say it would have done more like this, then you've got a better shot at drawing on it, because if you just use pure lightning, this wouldn't have even fired with this here until it broke this. And that's late to me, okay? Because you could easily see, even for instance, when they just try to make a little box, you know, sometimes you can just short them even. But staying on the right side of the trade will make a world of difference. Now, let me show you one other one, and then we're going to wrap. It's 8 o'clock, but let me show you oil. Did we have oil? I think we had oil. Just a second. We didn't have the, yeah, we did, regular chart. Okay, remember this right here, where we were trading oil and then Trump, you know, talked or something like that? Notice how you had barely taken out those highs. So technically that's a ratchet up. You know, so I'm looking for a mid-band or even a phantom type trade when it does that. But if you look at your lightning 3, you know, draw your lightning 3, you do have support right there. When they broke that, they were heading down. Everybody see that? You know, when this was actually heading up, you were basically getting a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. When they broke that a priori swing, they were pretty much heading down. And then you did have some nice phantoms. You know, where would you take this phantom right here to give an example? Well, basically you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high right there than that one. You'd pretty much box it in right across there. Or use the power meter, either way. Okay? Now, sometimes with using lightning type swings and everything, you're going to miss a good trade like this, because we just basically sat there and watched it. And if I remember right, didn't we box it like here and we got that trade finally? Because remember, it wasn't even retracing to line 2. See that line 2? Never touched it. But, you know, sometimes you just got to hit the trigger. And I even mentioned it while it was happening, because, you know, basically if you saw this happening and this thing just dropped like a stone, you know, and it breaks, you usually want it to at least break and kiss. And it did. See where it thrust and retraced, just like we talked about. It was just so quick. And that was your box right across there, you know, and I even said in the room, if you take it like so, don't let it go back against you. And it never did. Okay, so learn to, you know, really look at these charts and see these lines on the charts in real time, and it makes a world of difference. Look at this right here even. See, for instance, when this broke down big time, where did it come back and kiss? It came back and kissed that swing right there and then rolled over. Okay, drawing those charts, drawing your lines ahead of time can make a world of difference in you making money and not making money. Okay? Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll get it posted. And for anybody that missed out, just real quick, I think there were some people who hadn't come in just yet. Let me show you something we're working on. We're working on this little puppy right here, Ninja 8. And it's verifying a license, and it's going to load a workspace. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody see that? That will make a world of difference in how fast our charts fill out. It actually filled out faster than the data feed even loaded. Okay, so we're working on it. Now notice that we don't have everything on it yet. We don't have the power meters. We don't have lightning. I don't have any lightning on this chart yet. It won't take the trades yet either. There's no object trader yet. But we're going to have this full-fledged Ninja like we trade in the room by Friday. If somebody doesn't use Object Trader, they could use Ninja 8. Okay, but if you use Object Trader, which I do, I'm not going to change till I get Object Trader, because Object Trader is going to get with Ninja 8, I do believe we're going to be able to do some limit type trades and different things like that we can't do in Ninja 7. So look for some great changes in the next month, month and a half, 2 months, hopefully at the most, that we'll have Object Trader. And it'll have a new face look. It'll be totally different than it is now. And we're going to slim it down a little bit. I don't think we need all the trades that we've got in Object Trader, but we're going to make some trades that actually look for the way we trade and look for those targets even, so that you'll just automatically have your targets pop up at the proper spots and things. Okay? Thanks everyone for coming, and we'll see you in the morning. Hopefully we don't get this choppy junk on YM in the morning. That was terrible. All right, thanks everyone. Yeah, if you get that choppy junk, and I called it out several times this morning on YM, buy the predictors, buy support, look to the mid band for the type of trade that you're going to take. Okay, and buy support and sell resistance, or sell resistance and buy support. All right, thanks.